Hello, my name is Cameron. Today I'm going to share with you 10 apps that are extremely useful for traveling. First app that I want to talk about is TextNow. TextNow is fantastic because it literally lets you call for free. When you sign up for the app or first download it, you get a random number. They kind of just give you some phony number that I guess no one else uses, and then you can use that number to make calls. This app is perfect and I've used it multiple times, primarily when phoning banks or like my credit card company and you need to phone a kind of a toll-free number. Usually I use something like WhatsApp for calling friends and family, but when those rare cases come up, this app is perfect. You can literally dial any number and call them for free anywhere in the world. It is amazing. The next app that I really recommend is Maps.me. This is a kind of similar to Google Maps, but it allows you to download maps and use them offline. So just like Google Maps, when you go to a country, obviously it shows all the route, but let's say I am going to go to Mongolia next. If I zoom in, let's say around here near the capital, I suppose, it'll offer you to download the map. You press it to download and it takes a little bit, but once it's done downloading, so once it finishes downloading, you have the app, the map fully downloaded on your phone. So when you don't have internet or service, you can still actually access a map. You can still set routes and everything like that as well. So it is extremely, extremely helpful, especially once you get to a new country for the first time and you may not have a SIM card yet. The next app is Airlo. This app is perfect for getting eSIM cards. So sometimes when you don't have an opportunity to actually go to some store or something to buy a SIM card, you can literally buy them on your phone and then it kind of overrides whatever SIM card you have inserted into your phone. So let's say I'm going to Thailand, I can literally scroll through and pick different options. They only have 2, but they're unlimited for 8 days, and you can see they have the price there at $9.90 for USD. They're definitely not the cheapest SIM cards. They'll be a lot cheaper if you actually buy them in person at a store. But when you're in a pinch and need to buy one soon, this is great. So they have different options for every single country. And then once you hit the buy now, they have different packages as well. You will have to do some configuring in your phone, but the app does a really good job in taking you through each step and kind of explaining what you need to do to set up your SIM card. As you can see here, I have one for Malaysia that I used. I was traveling from Singapore into Malaysia and I didn't have a SIM card. I didn't have an opportunity to actually go to a store, so I just bought one on my phone and it worked perfectly and seamlessly the entire time I was there. The next app is a little bit more of a popular one, and that's Google Translate. I love Google Translate. I've used it numerous times while traveling. You know, sometimes you're trying to communicate with somebody and it's just not working. You pull out your phone and enter it into Google Translate. Plus, most people actually know how to use this app, both in Westerners and people here in Asia, so it's very intuitive. What I also really liked about the app is you can download languages. So here you can see I have English, Vietnamese, and even Chinese downloaded. That way, if I don't have internet, I can actually still translate words, which is really useful. One of my favorite features with this Google Translate app is the camera option here. You can take it, and then if you take your phone and put it up to cans or really anything, you can scan it and you can also take a photo of it as well. And then it literally shows you all the information. So it's perfect if you want to read something like this Coke can and all the nutritional information. But what I also really find it great for is using it for menus or street signs. All around, there's plenty of uses for it, and I think it's essential for traveling. The next one's Grab. Grab is great if you're in Asia specifically. I've used this in Bali, I've used this in Thailand and Vietnam. It's pretty much like Uber, which is very common in the West. You can use it to book a car. You can also use it to book a bike. So let's say from my current place, I want to go to the Hanoi Old Town or Hoi An Old Town. Say confirm pickup, it gives you your routes, and it gives you obviously the prices. Grab bikes are probably the cheapest way to get around almost everywhere in Asia. For literally almost a third of the price you can get from A to B, but obviously it's a bike instead of some nicer car. Also have options too for food as well. You can do food delivery. I've only used this once. I used it when I was actually in Malaysia, so I guess you can use it there too. And then there's also tons of different options. I guess you can get groceries. They have top-up subscription. I've never really used the most of these, but while traveling for getting from A to B, I've used Grab plenty of times to get around. Another app that I think is absolutely essential is an offline currency converter. This app allows you to be able to input one number and then see that value in a bunch of other different currencies. I've used this plenty of times. Sometimes you look at menus, you're trying to buy something, you're trying to haggle with someone, you're trying to figure out what the price is, to kind of convert it back home. Doing it in your head a lot gets tiring and can be sometimes a little difficult. So using this small app is fantastic. It's also really nice too because you can change all the numbers, or you can select, they have literally tons of currencies. So you can select almost every single one should be on there. You can do math as well. 101 baht plus another 200 Now I have 301 bought and shows you that value and all the other currencies. Extremely helpful. Would really recommend this one. I also like this one too because it stays updated. So if you see next to the Thai bot, it says updated at 4:11 p.m. It's 4:12 here in Vietnam, so it stays up to date with current exchange rates. I was using another currency converter, a very similar app, but I found that I was kept getting prompted with ads and ads and ads and ads, which when you're trying to pull out a phone and do a quick conversion, it gets a little annoying. This one, on the other hand, I've noticed doesn't have that, which is fantastic. The next one is Hostel World. This one's pretty essential if you are backpacking around any country. It is my go-to for every single hostel I've booked. I have booked through Hostel World. You can search where we're going to go. So let's say I'm going to go to Bangkok next. You select your dates. You say, oh, it's going to be one person. And then it takes a second to load, but it gathers every single hostel that is on Hostel World in that area that you chose. I like it too because there's filters. So you can be like, oh, I can change the price. You can also do this too. Say you can enter a number yourself. I only recently found that out. Hit apply. And obviously it'll change after the properties it shows you, which I also really like too is the map feature in the top right. So it looks pretty crazy here, but if there's like a certain area you're trying to stay, so around Koh San Road, kind of over here, I believe, you can be like, oh, $9 here, oh, it's $11 there, 19 over here, and it shows you obviously all the information. The ratings are super helpful as well, has all the information in the about sections. It has reviews of every single place, which is extremely helpful. I pretty much use reviews to almost always book. I always read the reviews first, and then actually has a location as well so you can find it. Plus, obviously, usually plenty of images as well. The next app is Booking.com. I also use this for getting accommodations. Booking.com also includes hotels, so there's plenty of options on there. Whenever I book a hotel, I do it through Booking.com. Booking.com has tons of other options, as like car rentals and taxis as well here at the top, but I've never actually used those options. Mainly just use it for booking properties. So let's say in Da Nang, from these dates for one person, you hit search and it gives you tons and tons of different options. The more you book with Booking.com, the cheaper the prices will get. I'll start giving you deals. So if you do this at the beginning of your travel, it'll actually pay down the line. You have to do a certain amount of properties in a certain amount of time. I'm not too sure because I haven't actually really used it much, but it is fantastic as well. It gives you all the information. It's safe, secure, easy to use. Another really fantastic app. The next app is Skyscanner. Skyscanner kind of goes without doubt. It is one of the best for booking flights. Out of every single flight that I booked during my travels, I booked through Skyscanner, and that's about 5 or 6 now. I like it because it's just very customizable, return, one-way, multi-city. When you change the city, you can obviously see the prices on a bunch of different dates. So it's like super cheap on the 21st, so maybe I'll book it then. And then once it takes time to get all the different deals, you can select it by cheapest, fastest, direct, of course. And then once you actually go into it, you can see the flight details. You can go say, oh, choose different providers as well. It just gives you kind of all the information you need when booking a flight. And it is always just a very intuitive app. It's just easy to use, which is, I think, ideal. The final app, and probably one of the most important, is just Google Maps. Almost every single traveler I have met has been using Google Apps. There are tons of different apps for having maps on your phone. Apple Maps is another common one, as a lot of people have iPhones and it comes downloaded, but I do believe Google Maps is by far superior. I've also found Google Maps to be very reliable and accurate. There's only been a very small amount of times where I've tried to find something on the maps and it is or isn't there actually when you're in the real world. But usually when it comes to like roads and routes, they're almost always completely accurate. What I also really like about Google Maps is they have all these little markers. So you see I have them all around Asia for myself. And they're great for whenever you want to save a location. So you can take this place, for example, the Marble Mountains. And if you scroll over to save, you can save it as a place that you want to go, a travel plans, favorites. And you can see I have some custom lists as well. Those you can make yourself. So say, oh, I want to be a place to go, and hit done. Now it's forever saved on your maps. These markers are absolutely fantastic. So you can see all over Bangkok, I have these saved markers. So I go to saved and then go down to here and hit more. It's saved into a Bangkok list of all these places to go to and just different things to check out and such. It's also really nice too because in case you meet friends or other people say, oh, hey, how is Bangkok? You know, what is there to see? You can actually share that map or that little markers with them. So it's really convenient for giving other people information as well. So yeah, those are the 10 apps that I think are extremely essential. I've had all these apps pretty much from the beginning to the end of my travels, and some of them have gotten me out of very sticky situations sometimes, especially when you don't have internet. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any other questions or have apps that you would recommend, leave a comment below, and I will see you next time.